I love it when an author comes back to me and they go, it sounded just like how I talk. My wife read this book and said, holy cow, this is just how you talk. And it's like, exactly. Your book needs to reflect you and your personality and the person that your clients are going to work with. With AI, yeah, you can write a book on your own. Okay, whatever. But what I love is, like
Well, can
I
you?
said,
So I'm going to challenge that a little bit. Can you?
you
Because
can. It
I
won't be very good.
well, I mean, just transparency. It's like, I use AI all the time. I love AI.
Mhm.
My wife gets jealous sometimes. I spend more time with AI than I spend talking to her. It's a whole thing. And
They have movies about that, Paul.
I know, but I have literally started and stopped probably a dozen books
Yeah.
because I think, oh, I got an idea. I'm going to brain dump it into
Oh,
ChatGPT. I brain dump it. It's like, oh, that's really good. And then guess what happens? Nothing.
nothing. Exactly.
because there is a process, right? And
Well,
there
and
is
there's the human
expertise.
touch to AI. Like, human touch can never be replicated by a computer. It really it cannot. The AI has come a long way, but nothing beats a human interaction or a story about how a person's life has changed. So, like, we need real personal stories from our authors. We can't just make stuff up. And putting that into the book and showing that real people and people's real lives and real circumstances can be changed by a Roth IRA, even though people don't want to know the ins and outs of the Roth IRA. They want to know, oh, it can save me on taxes, at a certain point in life, or this is a tax savings. But they don't want to know the details. They want the person who knows the details on how that
Exactly.
can change
I
their
want to.
life.
I want to know enough to know that you know the details. I want to know the outcome. I want to know the benefit. I want to know if I should do it, and then I
Yeah.
know that you can help me execute this because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a book does so much more than like a single blog. Blogs can help start the story, but a book really digs into like the meat and potatoes of what our financial advisors do for their clients and their customers and for the people around them. And my favorite author stories are when they talk about their families and like the things that maybe their parents did wrong and they learned the lesson from their parents and you became a better financial advisor because of that knowledge. Like I said, storytelling is like one of my favorite things because it's the humanity. Like everyone's so separate right now and like everyone's very divided, but we all have things that connect us somehow. And one thing a book can do is it can create a relationship. Like you spent 2 hours with this financial advisor who just poured their heart out to you and you feel like you know them.
Yeah.
There's like a familiarity. I don't know about you, but I have never felt that through a website.
No, and that's really the benefit of long form content because there's
Mhm.
always this I'll call it debate about what's the best type of marketing. Is it short form? Is it long form? And I'll say yes. you know,
They have to work
but
together.
both
Yeah.
have their place. If you're trying to
Mhm.
create some simple awareness with people that don't know you, then short form is probably it's initially top of funnel, as they say, to get someone to start paying attention. Probably short form, but as they get more towards that middle of the funnel or decision time, okay, I want to make a good choice, I want to understand my options, then
Mhm.
people do switch over to longer form content because now they really want to make sure they're doing their due diligence, making a good choice. And so this is where longer form content I find is much more valuable. And so it's interesting, like increasingly I have people coming to us who started writing their AI ChatGPT book. They got stuck in the process, and then they decided, okay, I need some professional help, right? And so
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
actually ironically ChatGPT I think has increased demand for our services, which is weird.
Well, you have to put in, a little bit more effort. The books that I've helped write, the authors that are excited or have a new point of view or just really have a drive to help and they think they have great stories or strategies that help people and they're excited about it, you can read that in the pages. It jumps out of the pages and it becomes such a big selling point because you can feel their energy through the book. And then you meet them in person and you're like, holy cow, they're this person that I just read. But you kind of have to put in a little bit of work of putting in your personality.
Right.
And ChatGPT does not always capture your personality. And that's the great touch of having a ghostwriter with us is that we get your personality and we make it shine through your book. I love it when an author comes back to me and they go, "It sounded just like how I talk. My wife read this book and said, 'Holy cow, this is just how you talk.'" And it's like, exactly. Your book needs to reflect you and your personality and the person that your clients are going to work with so that they
Exactly.
are drawn to you. Yeah.
Right, because, I like to say it's the polished version of your voice. It's you on your best
Mhm.
day. It's kind of you, your personality, your ideas. In my case, how I wish I could communicate them day to day, right, without all the filler words, etc. So, but it's the polished version of my voice, but it's 100% me, my personality, my ideas, etc. Because the other risk, we'll call it, is that you don't want this big disconnect, right? You don't want to
Mhm.
have this book that now you're some scholar, some academic, lecturing on the this, that, or the other, and then they come meet you and you're completely different. I mean, there has
Uh-huh.
to be congruence, right? I mean, it's really
Yeah.
the preview of talking to you where they're
Mhm.
drawn in and they're like, oh, I'm looking forward to talking to this person. So you
Yeah.
have to be congruent in terms of all of your marketing, really.
Yeah.